Elon Musk exposed the truth about the Epstein files cover-up. The video by Too Lazy to Try.
And she's also been subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee. I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim. She just might be. There was a rush to judgment. There was a lot of chaos there for a while. All right, granted, she hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, and I know that's apparently not good.
All right, so it looks like we've gotten to the point where people are now claiming Ghislaine Maxwell is a victim.
There's no way. I know we were just tossed into that, and I was waiting for him to finish his statement. But what in the psyop is going on now? Ghislaine, whose father was a triple agent for the KGB, MI6, and Mossad, is a victim to Jeffrey Epstein. She was quite literally co-conspirator / right-hand man.
You know, just another victim of cancel culture. It's crazy. You can't even help run a child sex trafficking ring anymore. Like, how ridiculous is that? What does this world come to? So clearly now they're trying to set up the narrative that we should listen to her, she can be trusted, and we should listen to what she has to say, which we know will be whatever she needs to say to get a pardon. So I think this might be the only way for Trump to save himself from this mess, because she could clear his name and he'll have an excuse to pardon her, which I think he always kind of wanted to do. So his former lawyer just met with her and said she gave him all honest and truthful answers to his questions, which means he liked what she had to say, which most people wouldn't trust anything she has to say, but diehard Trump fans soon will be hearing them say free Maxwell if she can help Trump out here, because he obviously does not want those files released. And it looks like Elon Musk was right about that. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump was informed by Pam Bondi back in May that his name was in the files. Then a couple months later,
I still don't know what the files entail. We already knew he was on the flight logs. We already knew he invited him to his wedding in New York. I get it. But what does being in the files implicate?
DOJ concluded there were no files. You know, there was no client list or blackmail operation. So Kash Patel, he went from saying...
What do you mean by client list at this point? Yes, I'd like to order 12 13-year-old girls. Like, we talking financial client? Or are we talking sex trafficking client?
The FBI is covering for Epstein because of who's on the list, to becoming the director of the FBI and helping cover for Epstein because of who's on the list. You know, doing the exact same thing himself. It's unbelievable. You know, these people...
You know what? Call me crazy, but at this point, the Epstein files, the Epstein list, it's just social media buzzword. People are just farming it for clout, myself included. Just milking it absolutely dry. The Epstein files, the Epstein cover-up, the Epstein list, Epstein's black book, Jeffrey Epstein's egg-shaped penis. I'm going to show you what's in the Epstein files.
Have absolutely no shame.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI...
The list is listless at this point. I mean, I don't even care.
Protecting the greatest... the largest scale pest in human history.
Simple, because of who's on that list.
And it's been reported that Kash Patel was going around to other government officials telling them that Trump's name is on the list. So it'd be pretty funny if he were the one to tell Elon.
FBI Director Kash Patel has privately told other government officials that Trump's name appeared in the files, according to people close to the administration. What does that mean, Kash?
On that, because Elon dropped that tweet about Trump being in the files while Kash was on Rogan, which of course Kash just acted like this is something he has nothing to do with, like, oh, this is above my pay grade. It's hilarious. I mean, the government at this point is just a reality TV show.
I mean, if you were the head of the FBI, wouldn't that be a pretty retarded move? Yeah, the president of this country, my boss, who gave me this position, he's in the files. What the
Also, Kash, he didn't even deny that Trump is in the files, which kind of gave it away. I mean, it's always been pretty clear that Trump is in the files, but this and that binder stunt really gave it away. Like, also during this podcast, Kash kept saying they will give us everything they're allowed to, which seems like he's hinting that there's more.
And we're going to give you every single thing we have and can. We've reviewed all the information, and the American public is going to get as much as we can release. Again, we're going to give you everything we can, and people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. I'm working my ass off, along with the leadership at the Bureau and DOJ, to get you what we're allowed to give you. We will give you...
We're not going to re-victimize women. I will. If it means blowing open the cover on the world's most degenerate gooner, I don't know. Seems like the move. Could be a re-victimization angle. What does that even mean, dude? The guy's dead. Ghislaine is in prison.
Do everything we can, and then we will have done our job.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What
between
is he?
Elon and
Have a
Trump.
nice day, DJT. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things.
Isn't that just justice for the victims like normally? You would think. One's rotting in prison, the other one's dead. I mean, what other fate? See, if I was God Emperor, Cyber King, I would employ some absolutely lethal techniques. I would go medieval on their ass in the town square, in the agora, but that's why I'm not in a position of power.
Yeah. Listen,
Well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and.
What do you guys think about Elon saying that? Do you think that Elon has access to a level of information that Kash Patel or JD Vance doesn't? I don't see how he would either. Is he just stirring the pot? Is he putting together the context clues? Why would Elon align himself so close to Trump and then just drop the fact that he's in the files, knowing the shitstorm and the absolute meltdown that would cause? Because hasn't he tried to remedy the relationship in some aspects after that?
Arguing with people all day is bad for you.
Well, you raise a great point. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
And it's so funny to me, out of all the wild shit that Elon says on Joe's podcast and on Twitter, this is what finally gets Joe to say Elon needs to take it easy and stop tweeting so much. You know, Elon apparently telling the truth about the Epstein file.
Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. That's crazy. That's insane. If this was the moment right here, now everyone's just blue-balled perpetually.
Files. I mean, Elon gave us more answers here than anyone else as to why the files haven't come out, and this puts more pressure on Trump to release them. And of course, when Elon is on Joe's podcast and tells him Bill Clinton and Bill Gates are in the files, Joe has nothing to say about it.
Known Epstein clients, who are obviously extremely powerful and very wealthy, are Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman, and some others too, but those three. So,
I mean, we did just learn the other day, well, I learned, that Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates primarily because of his Epstein connection. Yes, is this the Gooner department?
So it's funny that now Joe has a problem with Elon saying somebody's in the files. Now he thinks Elon should just shut up since he said Trump's in there. Like, if you're in the files and you did something illegal, you should be held accountable. I don't care who it is, former president, current president.
What about the Clintons? Nobody talks about them. What about good old Bill in the blue dress?
And whoever it is, they should be exposed. And it's also kind of weird that recently Joe has barely talked about the files. They're getting more attention than ever. Almost everybody is calling for them to be released, and Rogan doesn't have much to say about it after talking about it nonstop for years. Elon has at least been still putting a lot of pressure on Trump to release them. But I think Trump...
Question: if Trump ended up booming the economy, ending Ukraine, Russia, and Israel-Palestine wars, ended all the DEI stuff, and improved the job market, but it turned out he was on the Epstein files, would you still like him as a president? You're essentially asking, can you separate the art from the artist? In the most dark triad, fucked up way imaginable. And I guess that depends on the individual.
is trying to get him to chill. He must be worried about what else Elon knows.
Well, from a Petersonian perspective, are evil men capable of doing good deeds? Oh, I don't know, bucko, if I'm even equipped to handle such a question. The weight of that very metaphor sits on my shoulders. I have to consult my daughter Michaela for this.
Because Trump just posted to Truth Social earlier after it came out that Elon was right about him being in the files. He said, everyone is stating...
Guys, what you need to understand is this is all part of Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance's plan, okay? The Dark Enlightenment is here. Curtis Yarvin was right. We're literally living in techno-feudalism. Welcome to the future. Palantir, thanks you for your service.
That I will destroy Elon's companies by taking away some, if not all, of the large-scale subsidies he receives from the U.S. government. This is not so. I want Elon and all his businesses within our country to thrive. In fact, thrive like never before. The better they do, the better the U.S. does, and that's good for all of us. We are setting records every day, and I want to keep it that way. So he must be worried about what Elon knows. I mean, it's crazy for Trump to be this nice to someone who has been taking a ton of shots at him. Like, after Elon said he's in the files, you would think Trump would have gone scorched earth on him, but it's almost like the opposite now, which makes it seem like Elon has some more dirt on him, and that's probably also why he felt comfortable saying Trump was in the files, because there's even more he could say that Trump would be worried about, which also means Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi would know more too. So we'll see how long they can cover for Trump.
What is Dan Bongino doing, bro? All you hear about is Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Why are these the people running our goddamn country? He's podcasting?
Because it's got to be getting to them at least a little bit. I mean, being involved in helping cover up...
Phil, give us some more names you think are in these files. Dude, I don't even know what the files are. I don't know what that's supposed to entail. We saw the flight logs. Apparently, there is no contact list. I don't know anyone dumb enough to literally call themselves a cryptic PDF file by writing a birthday card to a glowing Mossad asset.
One of the most prolific child trafficking rings of all time is nasty work. Like, apparently Bongino, he hasn't been handling it well. Like, he reportedly snapped at Pam Bondi, and he's pissed about how this is destroying his reputation.
I think the problem is, and once again, this is that Philion intelligence angle that I'm just sticking to. You have corruption, human fallibility, people not doing their goddamn job, and an intelligence asset psyop astroturfing campaign all colliding into one shitstorm. It just depends on which one of those three talent trees you place your bets in.
Also, during an interview he did with Fox News a couple months ago, he seemed really stressed out about it. It sounded like he probably regrets taking his position.
I gave up everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets into like 6.
So another interesting take here is that, say, Bongino, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi are actually doing their job and trying to do everything within their power to get the people what they want, right? If you put on your tinfoil hat for a second, or even believe in the idea of the deep state or unelected officials in, say, the intelligence community, aka the CIA, which at a certain level is the same as CIA, MI6, KGB, then whatever they're doing, I don't know the exact analogy that would depict this perfectly, but I know it's out there that exists. Whatever they're doing is essentially playing with dolls, in that it's just a distraction.
It's 6:00 in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there. It's
like all of their efforts are futile because the truth will never actually come out.
7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out.
Kash Patel slamming white monsters and black coffee, just bug-eyed, pining over all the resources, hundreds and thousands of documents, all for it to not matter at all.
My apartment, but I stare at these 4 walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, we love each other.
For real, who actually controls the CIA because it's not the president? Well, how much time do you have? Because JFK tried to reel it in, and he was shot and killed. In fact, his head was blown off on live television. The answer is it's unchecked. There are no checks and balances. There have been people throughout the years, like Frank Church, I believe that's his name, the Church Committee, that questioned them, but the power structure has never been dismantled because now everything falls on a threat to national security. The reality of the situation is me, you, the fellow man, and American citizen do not elect intelligence officials. In many ways, they are dynastic families and individuals that have been entrenched in this community for decades and perhaps even centuries, that operate off of their own interest. And that's what people say when they mean deep state. David Talbot's Devil's Chessboard, talking about, what's his name? Alan Dulles. This is on CIA.gov. Alan Dulles, the CIA, and the Rise of America's Secret Government. You see, when you have them being this blatant and brazen and even having a .gov resource about the matter, the reality of the situation is it doesn't fucking matter because we have no power. We're already cooked.
It's hard to be a part.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out it.
So I don't know how much longer they can keep this up. I mean, it's also hard to follow all of Trump's excuses for why he doesn't want the files released or why they doctored them or why they aren't important or why it's a hoax. Because first, there were no files. Now they do exist, but Obama messed with them. But also, now his sycophants are saying, of course he's in the files. We knew that already, but it doesn't mean anything, even though they were saying that if you're in there, you're a file. Also, if he's in there and Obama put his name in there, wouldn't he have made it so Trump was doing something bad? And wouldn't he have released it? I mean, it's so hard to keep up with this stuff and make sense of it all. That's why we're seeing more and more people just jump ship before it's too late. Like Andrew Schultz, he started to turn on Trump a couple weeks ago, and now he's just like, oh yeah, this is really bad, much worse than I thought.
He is rebuking the base, like almost like spitting in their face. Like,
it all makes sense when you come to the conclusion that the previous administration altered the files. There's also that, right? Presidents have a 4-year term. What about people with longer term limits or unelected officials that are forever lurking behind the scenes?
they're asking for it. He campaigned on it. He puts Bongino and Kash in there, which might be the stupidest thing in the history of the world. Like, why would you put the two guys that have nonstop pounded the pavement talking about how we're going to expose this Epstein thing, and the second they get in there, like, you better shut the fuck up.
Yeah, to shut him up.
Go on Rogan, lie. Like, it is a very peculiar thing. It worked in that I think it moved any of the smoke off of Trump, because at least for me, I was like, there's no way that he's involved if he's putting Bongino and Kash in, who have campaigned on exposing it.
That's a great point. Do you think it's a calculated move to put Bongino and Kash Patel as essential truth-seeking mascots for the public in charge of the Epstein files? Or do you think it's more of like, they're not going to find anything because I'm not in the files, because I have nothing to hide?
Like, why would you hire those guys or appoint those guys?
Or do you think the door closes behind them? It's like, if you say a goddamn word. I don't even want to say the things that I was about to say, but you get the idea.
Right? So I'm like, he can't be. But the fact that he will not touch this, and then this last week, him doing the bullshit distractions, dropping the MLK file. Like, who asked for the MLK file?
Yeah.
Who asked for MLK?
You know what's funny is I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, and I was initially like, the Epstein thing for me was just the last straw in terms of you not getting things done. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure there's some smoke, they'll release it. But the more they're doing to hide it, the more I'm like, oh, they're hiding something crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily, I was like, there's probably something.
The second he started talking about Obama, I was like, oh, he's guilty.
Yeah.
And now
Tucker Carlson speaks about this. He says he doesn't own a computer because they could stick CP on it and frame him as a PDF. Yeah, we might have to go off the grid, boys. We might have to go old-fashioned chalkboard in the wilderness. Okay? Yeah, I mean, you know the content of my character. You know how good I am at swimming and driving. You know what I stand for.
we even have senators just straight up admitting that they're helping cover for Trump by blocking the release of the Epstein files.
Unbelievable amount of charges they've tried to file against the president. I'm sure this would be handled the exact same way. What we're simply wanting to do here is give them cover. So if my colleague from Arizona actually wants transparency, then he would drop his objection to my resolution.
So this just keeps getting messier. You know, every day there's something new. And even though it was already pretty clear Trump was in the files, at least we got confirmation. And it turns out Elon was telling the truth.
Isn't this old news, though? When was this posted? 16 hours ago?
I would like to hear what else he has to say. But I think Trump probably satisfied him. Like, Elon's AI company also got a government contract. So he might start taking it easy with the Epstein tweets. But I guess we'll see. Make sure you subscribe to stay updated. And check out the Patreon if you want to hear more about how Elon has been losing his mind over his...
Is that the case here? Where people know about Trump and his affiliation to Epstein, but they're just biting their tongue and asking for favors? There's no way that's the Looney Tune world we're living in. Please, please give me AI contracts. Did he just blackmail Trump? Lots of angles.
AI being too woke. So he decided to turn down the woke settings, and it turned into Mecha Hitler, and it went nuts and ended up sexually harassing the CEO who stepped down over...
I've watched about 20 videos and learned nothing new. Welcome to the party.
It's a wild story, so make sure you check it out. There are over 140 other exclusive videos on Patreon. It's definitely worth it if you enjoy the channel. I'll put a link in the description.
What did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information,
Nothing ever happens, chat. It's really the moral of the story there.